But I'm also wondering now, what maybe golden advice that you have that you can share with us, since you're so seasoned as travelers now?
Golden advice.
Suntan lotion.
Suntan lotion, yeah.
You know, for myself, Dawn and I are very different in our styles. I'm like the big chicken, and I don't like doing any of the adventures. But I love looking at art, and I love drawing, and you know, that's the way I experience things quite differently. I'm more of a voyeur, he's more of a doer. But so for myself, I really didn't even want to do it because I'd given up on that dream of traveling when I was younger. I was like, cool, I'd love to travel, and I was really into traveling when I was younger. And about my 20s, I just kind of gave up on that. You know, first kid, you just forget those things. So I had pretty much forgotten about that. But then when I thought about Don having so much fun traveling, and he'd be writing me or emailing me and telling me how much fun he was having.
Because I was going to go.
He was going to go, no matter what.
Whether she went or not, I was going. You want postcards or you want to come along?
So, I think, talk about having to be out of your comfort zone. This whole trip has been out of my comfort zone. Except for Europe. That was definitely in my comfort zone.
So your golden advice?
So my golden advice is, go ahead, branch out, go out of your comfort zone, and you know, whether it's on travel or anything else, it doesn't really matter. Just try it, because I have lots of really good stories, and I'll have people look up to me and say, "Wow, how cool she did that!" You know, when I wouldn't have ever have done this. Ever would have done it. So I think it's worth it, you know, to just try it, you know, and if you don't like it, you can always go home, you know, I mean,
Right.
you know, in anything, you can always go backwards, but if you don't go forwards, you don't know what there is there, so.
Yeah, that's good.
Great
Go
advice.
to the place.
Well, my golden advice would be, first of all, is to, when it comes to travel, just go. Do what you need to do. I think it's real easy to think, well, that's something we'll do if and when and if only, or when we retire, this and that and the other. I say scrape together some time and some money and go travel the biggest, best trip you can take, and just do it now, because we've met a lot of people traveling who are older and see us traveling in our 50s. They're traveling in their 60s and 70s. And they say, oh, you guys you're right to be doing it now. And like for you guys, doing it in your 30s, that's even better. Because the way I see it is, it's sort of like putting money in your retirement account. The sooner you put money in your retirement account, the more dividends you're going to get when you need it later on in life.
Yeah.
And when you travel when you're young, you put travel dividends away. And those travel dividends grow in ways that you can't really predict. In people you meet, in your perspective on life, the richness of your life experience. So the sooner you bank those travel experiences, the more rich with experience and cultural wisdom your life is going to be. And don't put it off. Do it now. And one other piece of advice is, a lot of people will say, well, how long did it take you to plan this trip for a year? And we say, you know, we didn't really plan it. You know, we put a world map on the floor of our house, and we put a big circle around North Africa and the Middle East and put an X across it and said, okay, we're not going to go there because there's too much trouble. And then we just sort of, with a pencil, we just sort of did this big zigzag course around the world, and we've more or less followed it. But you've really got to allow yourself to be open for serendipity, because some things you don't even know about, and the guidebooks don't really know about them. And the way you feel in your living room before you go traveling is so different than how you feel 3 months in, 6 months in, when you become more seasoned, when you become more confident, and when you meet people. You know, like the four of us have already talked, and we've shared some ideas with you in the direction that you're going. So have kind of a loose itinerary, but allow a lot of room for stopping and enjoying the place for a long time. Like we spent 3 weeks on Llama Island, or just going into Europe and tearing through and zigzagging all around. We had a great time. We just were there just flying around, enjoying a little day here, day there. So enjoy and just sort of cut loose.
And be willing to go with changes. Because speaking of going through
yeah.
Europe, we knew we bought a 2-month ticket, Euro pass. And we go, okay, we're going to go for every single country. And we sat down and we did all of our routes. Well, once we got there, we realized you can't do all those routes. You got to, and we found we were too tired going every single day on a train. And we realized, you know what, we can't really do this way. So we were willing to shift and go, okay, we're going to do this instead because we're not those kind of travelers. But we didn't know that until we started out, and started it the way we thought would be good and realized we didn't really like it after all that way. So we just changed and went a different direction. So you have to be really flexible.
Yes, you do.
Well, it's